Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central Spotlight. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, she is an independent journalist, a multimedia journalist, a content creator, a host, an MC, someone that definitely moves the crowd. She can command your event in whichever way you want it to go. She's an animator, a hype lady. You name it, she's there. But one thing is for sure. If it has to do with black people, it's her business. Laura, welcome to Diaspora Central Spotlight.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
This intro was just like
Well, at least it was authentic and
no,
from the heart. Okay.
very authentic actually. I'm just saying that, but in all honesty, very authentic, very you. Right? Yeah, very you. And I say very you because I want to start with an accolade. When I knew that you were definitely the it, right? The time when I get to Pearland to the theater for the release of the movie, oh gracious, Latin produced it.
Okay, yes, I remember what you're talking about.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's the movie with Kenneth Okolie, I remember.
Right.
And you were there. Yes.
Right. When I saw you there working, right? Because normally, I don't know, people like us, yeah, we there, but we working, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you never shy away from an opportunity to work. And you there, and I'm like, okay, she's just probably chilling. And I'm like, no, she's working. And I saw you working. I was like, yeah, she's the real deal.
Thank you. See, I wasn't trying to be I was in the crowd. On that day, I was mixed in the crowd.
Yeah.
I know that prior to me going to that movie release,
Yeah.
I had already done my homework. I've already done a bulk of my interviews prior to that event because I didn't know what was going to happen that day.
Got you.
And so when we saw Kenneth, I was just like, you know what, let's enjoy the movie. Let's support you and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Indeed.
You and I were both there.
Yeah.
We saw it. And so, like, if anything, yes, we're working.
Indeed.
Black people are our business,
Yeah.
so that's why we're there.
Definitely. And you know, it's interesting enough because the producer for that movie, Latin, she's a friend of mine, and Latin and I end up meeting because of another movie in which I was an executive producer for, which was, I believe, Paparazzi: The Eye in the Dark.
Right, you're multi-talented.
Okay. Well, we business, right? And at the time, Latin was media, right? So when I meet Latin is media. So it's like, believe it or not, all of us in the media kind of know and get to know each other because you know that when you show up at a place where something is something, you definitely know that this person is real. But welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a long time coming.
I know.
You know?
I know. I was like, I was starting to feel bad. I was starting to feel like there was no love in there for me. I'm like, Laura, like, definitely.
I'd be outside.
Like, holding up.
I was just like, oh my gosh, when am I going to actually sit down? There's always something that's going on. Even before I got here, I'm like, oh, I got something to do for work.
Yeah.
But I said I definitely have to come through Diaspora Central.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for honoring our invitation because, in all honesty, this is your profile. It's about you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's your spotlight.
It's different because usually I'm sitting in that chair.
There you go.
And so I always say it's not about me. I don't interject in other people's stories. But now to sit here in this seat and have people talk about me, what about me is so special?
Yeah.
So I have to sit here and like, all right, what about me?
Yeah, and it's nothing but conversation. But I'll tell you one thing, though. So when I do mine, then you sit on this chair and I'll sit on that side.
All right.
Yeah?
You know it.
Busy lady.
Yes.
Yeah, the lady that definitely deals with the nuts and bolts of the community. Yeah, doesn't hold back. No. Yeah, that pen has got to run dry.
Or at least the laptop now.
Something,
these days.
yeah. But you using your ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, you making use of that ink. Yeah. At what point does that start?
Oh, when it started for me. All right, so we got to take it back.
Yeah, real back.
Oh, take it back. Okay, so geez, I didn't want to be a journalist. That wasn't my goal.
Don't say.
Ever. Yes, real talk. At the time when I was young, I'd always wanted to be a civil rights attorney. That was the goal. Okay. No one forced me into it. You know, I'm Nigerian American. So, you know, you always have that saying when parents, their expectations of what you want to do in the career. No one forced me to want to be a lawyer. I just felt like, okay, I wanted to help our people in some way with the legal system. And at that time I said, okay, I thought law was going to be the way forward. So for a very long time, that was my goal. I entered college. I wanted to study political communications. I minored in media just so I can have something on the side to work on.
Yeah, so that was basically your trade.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly, so, if you're on communications, you got to have a trade, and your trade better be something physical. Either media, editing,
on the side,
cutting, something.
So I didn't think anything of it at the time, but that's what I was doing. It was already to the point where I had started taking practice exams for the LSAT, the Law Entrance School exam. And I remember taking that's how deep I was going into wanting to go into law school. It wasn't until I think sophomore year of college or so, I studied abroad.
Okay.
I studied in La Sorbonne in Paris.
Okay.
And I wanted to continue to do like international relations with my political communications degree at that time.
So at that point, you really
I had a plan.
Getting yourself ready. You accumulating.
Yeah, I was ready. So I went to study abroad at that time, and my eyes were open. The Paris that I see reading books was not the Paris I saw in person. That's an all black city, okay? Diaspora is Paris. Black and Caribbeans, that's Paris. And so just to interact with our people in Paris and just to listen to their stories, I was like, this is not what we're learning in school when I was and I'm coming here and my people are all here listening to their struggles, listening to why they're in the country and what they were doing. I spent my whole time there just like in awe. And so at that time, that was when I was reconsidering, you know, okay, do I really want to do law? So I'd spent my time in college just trying to figure it out.
Gotcha.
Up until towards my end of junior year, entering my senior year, where I was just like, okay, I need to make a decision to figure out what I want to do. By the time I graduated, I was like, law school is not it.
Oh, wow.
Law school's not it. I had to sit my parents down and tell them, hey guys, like I know I said I wanted to do law, but I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna take a year off work so I can get to do a master's degree program for broadcast journalism. They were just confused. They said, what?
I was going to ask you, what was that conversation like? Because that's
the conversation, luckily, my parents were very supportive. Because my mother went to Texas Southern University when she first came to the country. Went to school at TSU. And so her major was communication. She thought she was going to do TV reporting, but situations changed. She's in the healthcare field now. So she thought like, wow, she never pushed me to do media because I never said I wanted to do it, but she was like, oh wow, this is something that I first started doing when I was in school, and now you're interested in doing it. Okay.
Continuity.
If you have a plan, you can do it. And then my father, of course, was like, oh wow, okay, no problem. Okay, I can see you doing CNN. I can see you doing CNN. Because all he watched at home was CNN.
Gotcha.
So I was like, if you believe that, if you support it, if you like it, I love it, Daddy.
There you go.
So they were very much in support as long as I had a plan and I knew what I was doing. I did take a year off. I was in the AmeriCorps for a year.
Oh,
I was
really?
teaching ESOL. Yeah.
Whoa.
Fun fact. Okay. Yes.
Now, and that's just a question because, and probably an educational, for educational purposes. A lot of people don't quite understand. They think that when you go there, you don't get paid, you don't get anything. It's almost like you're just working for free. Tell us a little bit about that experience. First of all, what it is and what that experience is really like.
Yeah, so I was in Boston and I was working with the New American Integration Program. And so basically I spent my time teaching English to adults, and then helping those with green card holders prepare for citizenship.
Okay.
So I helped with their,
Yeah,
I
to do
believe,
the
N400
citizenship
forms.
test.
Yes,
Yeah.
take the citizenship test. So that was basically what I was doing for a whole entire year. It was very, very, it was very fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could teach
Okay.
adults because I'm like, okay, I'm a young person out of college. And these people are grown. They have children. They have families. Who they're gonna listen to a young girl like myself? Like, who are you? And it was not the case at all.
Wow.
You know. So I had met people who, you know, who speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
Who were learning English. People who spoke French, Creole, who just didn't know how to speak English, but they've lived for such a long time in the country.
Indeed.
But they spend so much time in their communities that they didn't feel the need to have to learn English. Because why? I have my people. So as long as I can survive.
There you go.
But they said, well, in order for you to get this citizenship, you gotta pass the test.
Yeah, you gotta be able to speak, and you gotta know some things about the history of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year, and you were paid. It's not like you were making money where, oh my gosh, you're comfortable, because it's like you're trying to help people. They're putting you in a place where you also have to be within the community.
Right.
Whether it be low income communities, you're trying to help those who are in need.
Right.
So you're not going to be rich working in an area where you're trying to help people in need, but you will be making income that is sustainable for you to, be able to feed yourself.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's the AmeriCorps program at the time. I'm sure it has expanded and grown over time.
It's evolved.
I was there in I did that from 2012 to 2013. So, I mean, I enjoyed the program very, very much. I learned a lot, especially working with pro bono lawyers, immigration attorneys, nonprofit organizations that help immigrants in the community, just to see how they operate, what they do to raise funds to help folks in the community who need the support. It was a good time.
Got you.
I actually missed it.
and at that point, you're already on the media path.
Yeah. So I had to figure out, all right, if I'm going to get entrance into Emerson College, shout out to my Emerson College folks.
There you go.
I had to figure out how I can make my portfolio stand out. Because when I graduated from, I went to Curry College, I didn't feel like I had enough in my portfolio, because I had already decided towards the end of my college season that I wanted to enter into broadcasting and media. So I didn't feel like my portfolio was substantial enough. So I had to figure out, now that I'm here with the AmeriCorps, how can I utilize this experience to make that portfolio, to expand my portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'd worked with some mentors, or I worked with folks who I was with in the program to see how I can be able to tell immigrant stories while I was working. How can I be able to do this? Yeah. And so I did that. I was working with my little iMovie. I was teaching myself how to edit.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, I told you, everyone's got to have a trade.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to have a
teaching
trade.
myself how to edit, how to interview people, how to fix the lighting. Sound,
exactly,
everything. Working with the JVC cameras, because we were working the JVC.
Yep. The mini DVs.
Yes,
indeed.
Plugging it in. Into I did all of that.
Wow.
And I made it work. I eventually got entrance after my year with the AmeriCorps. I got entrance into my master's degree program. Yeah. I spent 2 years with the program, and that program catapulted my career afterwards. So. Wow. Shout out to Emerson College.
Indeed. Now, let me kind of go a little bit back. You come from a big family?
Yes. Yeah. I come from a pretty big family.
Yeah. You mentioned your parents. In this program, we like to hear names. Even if you just give one name, it's okay. But we like to hear names because that helps us. Yeah. You never know who's related to. Yes. You could be talking to your cousin right here, and you just don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So, mom's name?
Mom's name is Abi.
Abi, okay. And you mentioned that she came into this country. So what country was she originally from?
Nigeria.
Originally from Nigeria. Now, both parents, so you fully Nigerian, yes, of Nigerian heritage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
They both from the same tribe, from the same?
Yes, they're from the Igbo tribe.
Igbo tribe, okay. Same state also?
Same state, yes, correct.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to visit Nigeria?
Yes, very frequently.
Yeah.
I go home to the village to visit.
There you go. You never got sent in punishment.
No. Thank God. Although my dad, he has he is the historian of the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his worry has always been, yes, you guys are born and raised here, but I don't want you to lose who you are.
Yeah,
I want you to know where your heritage, where you're from. Mm-hmm. So he's the historian. At every chance he will get, I don't care if you call him right now on the phone, he will find a way to remind you about where you're coming from.
There you go.
And so I've had conversations with him, and you know, he's getting older.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about maybe having to sit down with him like this.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
You know, press play.
It's important.
And record it.
It is important. It is very, very important, because if you don't do that, if you don't capture that, it goes with
it goes away.
Yeah.
And so he is just the stickler.
Yeah.
At any time he's going to remind you.
There you go.
About the story. It doesn't matter how many times.
Yeah. Now, so in elementary school, or as you of course you said that you were passionate for political sciences, international sciences, maybe international business somewhere in there. I don't know. If you go foreign policy, international business somewhere falls in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you are little, at what age are you starting to feel like, okay, this is definitely where I need to go? Is it already post high school or pre high school?
Oh boy, I feel like it's different for whoever you direct this question to.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I've kind of I knew this since high school.
Since high school, okay.
You know, back in high school, it's probably different than what high schoolers are seeing now. But in school, we were learning about history.
Right.
We watched documentaries. Mm-hmm. Whether if it was uncomfortable, we were watching it. Yeah. if it was,
VHS cassette.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
So when you're watching the documentaries, because I love watching people's stories live, just to see. I'm one of those people who, even Wikipedia is not. It's not a confirmed outlet. It's not a confirmed source. But sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm clicking somebody's name. I said, I want to read their biography.
There you go.
And so I'm like, okay, is there any films or something? I said, let me just read it. Their lives, like, wow, they lived this life. That's how I was in high school. I was always soaked up. I was in the library in the biography section.
Oh, yeah, you were deep.
And I was in the geography section reading about all the countries in the library. So I kind of was veering towards like, oh, one day I'm going to go to this country. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do all these things. There's so much going on in the world. That was me.
Indeed.
That was me. And so, yeah, like I kind of solidified that in high school. Mm-hmm. And so things now these days in school are much more different. Yeah. But that's the age.
Yeah. So in high school, now as you are younger than high school, let's go back now to younger than high school and elementary school, middle school. Were there any teachers that saw any sort of inclination towards reading, writing, broadcasting, talking, reporting, that in your opinion maybe they even helped or guided you somewhat in that direction?
Well, I've had, let me see, I think in elementary school, I wouldn't say, I gravitated towards the arts and music.
Okay.
I believe Mrs. Campbell, I went to the McAvenue School. Mrs. Campbell, I believe she was my music teacher. And I absolutely loved music class.
Okay.
We were reading notes, the music notes and all of that, and playing instruments and things. Yeah, we did that. I had a good time in that class. Okay. Like I said, at that time, I didn't know anything. I just gravitated towards what I thought was fun. I also was into the arts. I remember taking art classes and learning how to paint and draw. Yeah. It did carry on into high school because I thought at one time I was going to be one of those forensic sketch artist. I really thought I was something like, oh, look at I still have my old sketchbook with all my old sketches.
Wow. Okay.
I really thought I was doing something at the time.
There
Please
you go.
don't mind me. I look back and I look at the art and I'm just like, what was I doing?
And never know. Those could make some serious cash someday.
You never know. But I knew at that time I was gravitating towards the arts and the creative space. I didn't gravitate towards science or math. I just knew that wasn't going to be for me.
Yeah. Now, do you play an instrument?
I was playing snare drums.
Snare drum, okay.
We learned to play the recorder. But yeah, for the most part, the percussion, drums, that's what I was playing at the time.
There you go.
It was fun.
You still play?
No. I actually want to get back to it because I'm like, I love drums. I love watching people play drums.
Right. Are you able to read music though?
No, not like that anymore. I did away with it. I don't know. As you grow up and you start seeing or doing things that are of interest to you, those type of things kind of wilted away. But I would like to get back to it. I would like to get back to hobbies. Like I don't like some people are like, what do you like to do for fun outside of work? I'm like, what? What? Hobbies? And I gotta sit here and think like hobbies.
No. But here's what you don't realize. See, when you find your calling, you become it.
Yeah.
Right. So when people talk about hobbies, it's really like I'm doing what I do for fun, right? I mean, I would do this for free.
Yeah.
Right. So as you're doing it for work, that's why you don't have hobbies, because you're really doing you're really doing what you love, and you are very good at it.
Oh, thank you.
And on that note, before we go into a break though, I want to get mom's name and dad's name.
Dad's name is Innocent.
Yeah, Innocent. Okay, so and he stands innocent.
That's right.
Yeah. And what about mom?
Mom, Abi.
Or
Adama.
Adama. Okay. Yeah, I know one Adama, but she's of Liberian, I believe, of Liberian heritage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're all interconnected in some way.
Indeed. Yeah. It's the continent, right?
Right.
Yeah. And on that note, let's go ahead and take our first break and take a look at what this diaspora community has to offer right here in the city of Houston. If you just tuned in, you are now listening to Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today is Miss Laura. Yeah. Black People's Business is in the building. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Laura Onyeneho. I'm a multimedia journalist, video content producer, an event MC, and a professional model. Well, you can call me the Jill of all trades. I want to welcome you guys to the Behind the Bio project. This project is to go behind the scenes of those who have a personal brand, to learn more about the person behind the professional accolades and the title. The challenges that I face that people rarely see are the rejections. I've been told no more times than I've been told yes, and throughout my career I had to find ways to create opportunities for myself when I couldn't get it through a job.
I get to find senorita. Okay. They call me Young Dangote. Na na na. Hello, hater. Nice to meet ya. We know they wear the same nika.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today is Laura. Yes, Laura. Quick question. Your last name?
My last name is Onyeneho. But my married name is yes, Onyeneho.
Yeah, right.
My married name is Ofuasia.
Ofuasia. Okay. So you Onyeneho is Nigerian, and Ofuasia
is
also Nigerian.
Yes.
So you also married a Nigerian.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. We keep it going.
So daddy won on that.
Daddy won. Yeah? He won. You know, that's his wish. I said, well, love is love, and whatever happens, you know, hopefully, you know, your parents will accept it.
Right.
But he's happy.
There you go.
Yes.
No, but it's always that. Now, are you one of the ladies that ended up marrying a husband that reminds you of dad, or?
Well, my hubby is, I wouldn't say he reminds me of dad. He's more, let me just say, he's not an old school mentality type of guy.
Okay.
Yes, he's born and raised in Nigeria, but at least he's very open-minded.
Got you.
He's been to a lot of places. He's seen a lot of things. Well-traveled. He just has a different mindset from someone who you think like, because they're born and raised in the motherland, they have a very strict or conservative.
Right. He's not that kind of conservative.
Yes, not that kind of conservative. Okay. He's very understanding, and sometimes where, yes, I'm born and raised here and you're born and raised there, but we have a compromise and understanding of our lived experiences per se.
Got you. And where did you guys meet? Here or overseas?
We met we met like on the interweb. We connected on the interweb.
Wow.
Yes. So that's how we communicated, because I was here doing my thing. He was over there doing his thing. Wow. So we kind of met on the interweb, and we were like, okay, wow. And then we kind of communicated that way until we were able to see each other. Because when he comes here, and we're traveling a lot. Right. So it was tough, but we made it happen where we can be able to connect ourselves. Thank goodness for Delta flying.
Delta better be paying this show.
That's right.
Better sponsor this show.
Sponsor this show.
Yeah. Now, you went to school in France. So
yes,
you speak French?
Oh, child, a little bit. I do my thing. Yeah. When I have to.
Yeah. Bonjour, bonsoir.
Bonjour.
There you go. That's it.
Comment ça va?
Yeah, there you go.
Ça va bien, merci.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's one
Je fais mes études à la Sorbonne. Yes, I did that.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that, in all honesty, even if you go to school in France, you can also go to school in English.
Yes, you can. Yeah. But the thing at the time when we were there, it was tough because our host program did have some English speakers, but then they did tell you when you're in France, like when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the tough part. Before you were going to that program, you did have to take some elementary French or some type of class, because when you're going there, some of the teachers are going to speak to you in their English. Exactly. I mean, in their French, whether you like it or not. Yeah. They're very tough there. At the time when I was there, the professors were tough.
No, the teaching method is different. Yeah, the European teach method is very tough. Very. Right.
And so you gotta toughen up. And I feel like the American school system, you have a lot of supports.
Yeah.
And so if you have office hours with the professors, I'm just speaking on my experience. The teachers will give you your office hours. If you need the help, they have the mentor or tutors to help you. But at that time, if you didn't get it, you're on your own. You got to figure this out.
Exactly.
You ask the questions in the class when you can. Even if you butcher it in French, you're gonna have to figure out how to navigate it. And we also had other classmates who came from different countries.
Right.
Some people from Turkey, some people from China. They also learned that this is not their first language either.
Right.
So everybody in different places from all across the country were like, okay, I know you're from China, you're learning French. I'm from America. Right. We're going to learn this French, but also we have to learn not just the French, but you're taking the class, like political science class.
Right.
This is not a French speaking class.
Right.
Where you're learning about the language.
Yeah.
You're taking a course.
Exactly.
So we all had to band together to like, all right, we gotta figure this out. And when I'm writing in English, we have to learn how to write in French.
Exactly.
And even there was times where when you get it wrong, the professor would be like, okay, you gotta go on the board and you gotta write it on the board. So I was like embracing the whole entire experience.
Yeah.
It was very, very tough.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because that's the only way you're gonna learn.
Indeed.
That's the only way you're gonna learn, and to survive on the street too.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
definitely.
Gosh,
He preps you for real life.
Yeah.
Right. He preps you for real life. He actually preps you for work life.
Yes.
Yeah. because they take that stuff real serious.
Very serious. Just even communicating with the other folks, that even Nigerians, the ones that I met there, their fluency in French was amazing. I said, how long have you been here? A couple of years.
Yeah.
A couple of years, and you can already speak the language like this? They said by force.
Yeah.
We had to learn. By force, we had to learn because nobody was speaking English to me. They had to. And I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. So like, you just have to be in the space where you have no choice but to learn.
Yeah, no, quite true.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that many people go through is in the process of sometimes finding self as they growing up, right? Identity becomes a bit of a crisis, right? Or something challenging that they have to deal with. Was that an issue with you?
To be honest with you, not really.
Okay. Yeah.
I say this because elementary school, even up to high school, I pretty much went to a school where it was already diverse. It wasn't just Africans and Caribbeans. I grew up with Cambodian people because the city where I went to school, it has a large Cambodian population.
Okay.
And so it wasn't a problem for me.
Yeah.
Identity wise, it became, I didn't question it, but like I started going to PWIs in college.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of Black people per se that I went to college with, and the same thing when I did my master's program.
Yeah.
So I kind of got my culture shock there versus elementary school, middle school, high school.
Okay.
It was pretty diverse for me.
Yeah.
And so in college I was just like, okay, oh, all right. This is you start to see the difference. You feel the difference.
Yeah.
And so was the time where I was like, okay, all right. My identity. I gotta show up differently.
Exactly.
In class, like if we're talking about something involving Black people, I know people would direct. They'll look at you like, Laura might have something to say because she's Black. I don't know what that means. Like, you should do your homework too. Why do you have to look at me because I'm Black and I know the answer? You might think I know the answer. I'm learning here too. So that was what I had to do. I had to show up in a different way. Yeah. By the time I entered college. But I didn't feel lost because I had my daddy. I had people in my family who were gonna remind me.
Kept you
anyway.
grounded. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess at some point also you I guess the fact that you had a very diverse class or diverse community helped a lot, because I'm sure that at some point you realized that, okay, once you walked out that door, yes, there was the U.S., but once you were inside that door, there was Nigeria. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was. At home, it's a different experience. Yeah. They made it very clear. Very, very clear. There's certain things that you're not going to be doing. You thought you could do it outside, but you're not going to do it inside. Yeah. And when you're growing up, you're like, why do I have to do like this? Because my friends get to do this. My friends get to do that. It's not until you grow up you see why. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I get why they did it. I'm not going to tell them they're right though. But I'm sure that when they listen to this, they're like, I told you. Yeah. I told you.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 other siblings. Yeah? Yes.
Yeah,
I have one
you can
brother.
give them a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Stanley, Diana, Stephanie. What up, what up, what up? Yes.
Yeah. Where do you fall in that order?
I'm the older one out of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you run the crew.
Yeah, let me just say, I'm the one that I'm the guinea pig of everything. They're the ones who watched me and they're like, oh yeah, that happened to you. Oh, that's definitely not gonna happen to me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that happened. Yeah. Yeah. So I took the hit for a lot of things so that when they come through, I walk so they can run.
Yeah. What's the age difference?
So between me and my brother, it's 2 years.
Okay.
And then the last borns are 5.
Okay. Oh, so two girls.
2 girls, yes. Okay. They're twins, yeah.
Got you. Yeah. So then 3 girls to 1 boy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the reverse of me. My mother had 3 boys and 1 girl. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the reverse. The inverse, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but interesting enough, it's kind of funny. I guess that kind of tells the methodical mindset that you have, because you're very methodical in doing things, and even when it comes to explaining things, that explains that now, because you're the oldest.
Yeah,
you have the tendency of always being the one that actually breaks it down and explains it well. That's probably why teaching ESL and all those things kind of make good sense.
It was a learning experience for me, because like I didn't feel at the time that I would be a good teacher. So you definitely have to find your method of teaching certain things, or make it fun for adults.
Indeed. But did they at any point rate you at all?
Rate
the students?
The students, they I presume that they loved me.
Yeah.
The vibe was
you're
nice.
Presuming of them coming and saying, "Oh wow,"
they would give me hugs. They would say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you."
So that means you were
they would
good.
come pull me aside and say, "Oh, teacher."
So that means that you were good.
I was like, "Okay, cool, thank you." And they were. I only, out of all the students I had, there was only one elderly woman from Algeria.
Yeah.
She was a tough cookie. She just didn't. She was stubborn. She didn't want to do the work half the time because she thought it was hard, even though she spoke French. But I had to take more time with her. I will never forget. She was just so cute, but she was very stubborn. She's just like, if I can't get it, she'd just cross her hands and just look at everybody in the class. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Where's my son? And the son was encouraging the mom, like, please listen to the teacher. She's trying to help you.
Yeah.
But other than that, everybody was wonderful.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, journalism. Yeah. The essence of journalism. Yeah. Comes with a lot of challenges.
Of course.
And at times, even as you're writing certain stories, you figure out that, oh, wow, I never thought in my career that I would be doing something like this. At what point did you face that one article or that one story that made you understand that this was the real deal? And what was the story, if you can share?
Do you mean a story that was like a scandalous story per se? Or like
not necessarily scandalous. Could be scandalous, could be actually something just too real to be able to swallow at that point in time, or too drastic or too dramatic. Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of us.
In other words, what was the first story that made you feel like, oh yeah, this is the real deal right here?
Okay, a real deal story. Okay. I would say I started my career with the Bay State Banner newspaper. I was a freelance reporter for them. At the time, I was doing my master's degree program at Emerson College. I felt like, okay, I had to get the ball rolling. So I'm going to freelance for this newspaper. It was an all-black newspaper I first started with. And so I would do my classes full-time, and then I left to go cover stories at the same time. And so I think it was around the time they had the Nigerian, the Chibok girls that were kidnapped.
Got you.
They had a lot of protests happening at the at City Hall, and my editor was like, okay, if there are stories in the community that you see, let us know, go out and cover it. Right. And so I got word that there was going to be like a protest outside City Hall. I went, was it City Hall or something was happening outside? I had to get there.
You were outside.
I was outside. I went there and I was like, okay, you see the TV folks doing interviews, and then I was just here with my pen and paper and just trying to apply I'm trying to apply the skills that I'm learning in school. Talking to the people, and I'm, they're looking at this girl like, who is she? I'm like, yes, I'm with the newspaper. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I did it. I put the piece together. It ran in the paper, and then when I tell you, I got calls from people in the community.
Right.
I was like, okay, I didn't think people cared, because I'm like, do people even read the paper?
Right.
I just was I felt like I was doing my job. Yeah. I was just happy that something was in the paper. I'm like, oh my God, like
I got something. Yeah.
And people were just like, they made printouts of the copies of the paper, and they're like, oh, that's the girl. She's the one who did this paper. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay. People are really paying attention. So from then on, people were like, oh, there's this thing that's happening in community. So people now letting me know that things are happening, and then I should consider showing up.
They know that you're on their side.
Yeah,
and
it's
real. It's real at that point.
And I'm just trying to get my degree and, I'm just trying to do this right. And I was like, okay, I did it. All right. So they kept calling to say, oh, hey, this thing is happening. And I tried to do my best while going to school.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was getting overwhelming. I was like, I can't be everywhere at once. I still got to graduate.
Yeah,
but I'm going to do my best. I had a good time working with the newspaper, the Bay State Banner newspaper. The editor at the time was Yahoo Miller. He was very helpful with helping me structure
the story.
how to get it to look better. He was red marking all of my stories, and I didn't take offense because it was just like this is writing is a skill.
Yeah,
it's work.
It's work.
And I continue to take that with me going forward.
Right.
It was a very wonderful experience that I will not forget. It was very helpful, fundamental.
Right. And that's one field also where you really can't take things personally because it's a learning environment at all times, right? And if you don't look good, they don't look good.
Yeah.
And all those things pile up and you have to become the representative that at all times it's at its best.
Yeah.
Right?
With journalism, a lot of the times, you have to build trust with the community too. So that's one thing. So I had to bust my behind to prove to people like, okay, I'm here not to pick sides. I'm just here to hear what is happening and report what is happening. Y'all can decide what you want to do with the information I am presenting. You guys are narrating what happened. I just have to state what the facts are or what is happening here. And that's my job. So I don't pick sides. I'm here in the middle, meeting with you on one opposite side and you on the other side. I just need to know what happened. And if you guys are both telling me stories, then it's my job to now figure out, are these stories that these people told me, are they for real?
Right.
Now I gotta go figure out, are these people lying?
Where are the facts?
Where are the facts? Yeah.
Now in the age of alternative facts though, or alternate facts or whatever
Fake
facts, fake news and everything else that goes with it, reporters such as yourself or journalists such as yourself at times find yourselves fighting a lie right off the bat, right? Because lies are always louder, right? They're always louder, and people like drama. Yeah,
they do.
So sometimes bringing a real story, a raw as it comes with facts, becomes too shocking for individuals to even go towards it because one, is not fun. Two, it may require you to actually think. Three, it may require you to be a solutionist. Now, we're not in the world of solutionists today, right? Everybody wants to blame somebody for their problems. How do you sometimes deal with that?
How do I deal with it? I just do my job. In this day and age, right now, you're competing with clicks, likes, clickbait, whatever we can do to draw people to our platform to read. And we can't really navigate in that space, no matter how boring people might think the article or the story is. We want to engage people in conversation. We want them to think and, try to see what they can do to better the situation, depending on what the story is. That's how I navigate it. When people, I remember doing a story recently about black hair salons and their new rules and policies with stylists, and then learning what the complaints are of their customers and people who support those black hair salons. It's been a debate for a long time with those with black hair stylists and the customers. Okay. So I said, you know what, let's hear the side of the stylists. Why do they do certain things that make people unhappy? Why do they have to do? So I remember going online and checking we posed a question. Are the expectations, are there major changes? What are the major changes? And do you see that the industry is going in the right direction? Simple. And then we saw comments after comments after comments, and some people were just lamenting and complaining. Oh, this is why I don't invest in the salons no more. This is why I don't do this. This is why I don't do that. And I'm like, do I take offense to what these people are saying? No. Yes, they're engaging in the conversation. And you can either take this feedback as, okay, I'm going to learn from this. This is what potential clients are concerned about. How can I better my salon experience? Or if I'm a customer, can I understand where the business of the salon? Right. What can I do so I can support their how they run their business? Indeed. And plus, if you don't like what they're doing, there's so many other businesses. Right. So it was just to gauge the temperature in the room. Indeed. I did my job.
There you go.
You know, so the people who are complaining can take away from the article, and we can only hope that they read the article.
There you go. Yeah,
because that was posted on social media, and they only saw the headline and the teaser,
and they went for it.
Yeah. Did you click the article and read?
No. A lot of times people don't. Yeah. Intellectual journalism. Yeah, she's an intellectual and she is a journalist. So let's take another break and we'll be right back. Our guest today is Laura. Yes, Black People's Business in the building. Right here on Diaspora Central Spotlight. We'll be right back. And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today is Laura. Yes, the Emcee, the journalist, the intellectual. Yeah, and today we also learned that she's also the professor.
Oh, can't say all that now.
Or the instructor. Yeah, you a dancer too.
I mean, sure. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, to an extent now. Yeah. Fun fact.
And definitely a comedian.
You know what? Thank you for all of these kind words. Thank you for all of these kind words.
Yeah.
So the dancer part, let me just, fun fact, myself and my siblings used to be in a dance troupe long time ago.
Uh-oh.
We were called Fire Dance Troupe.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of? We
did African dances.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did that a long time. We used to perform for weddings. We used to perform for college, like African Student Union shows. Yeah. We used African festivals.
Yeah, cultural festivals.
Things like that. We used to do that for some years back then. And then we kind of died off, and that was that. And so I take it with me sometimes. I take it with me on the road when people want me to. I do it. I bust down. I bust down. I still got it in me.
Yeah. Now, of course, everyone has that passion that is deep within that starts to sip out through the little tiny cracks around the one thing that we do to make a living and starts to manifest itself around it. What is that thing for you?
That's event hosting and emceeing. So I'm an introvert in real life.
Right.
Some people don't believe that. They're like, what? All this energy that you have, all the things that you do, and you're an introvert? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
When it's time to work, it's time to work.
There you go.
I just put that aside. Public speaking.
Yeah.
Is very important in this business. You got to be able to talk to people. And so I try to do my best to find ways to make that happen.
Right.
Fun fact as well, I used to compete in pageants. That's how I used to that's how I was able to develop those public speaking skills, because when you're on stage, you have to speak. When you're talking to people in the community, you have to speak.
Yeah.
So I use that as a medium to do so.
Gotcha.
And so even with event MC, yes, I'm a journalist. I do that naturally. It just kind of and ventured into this thing, and that's not what I wanted to do either. The people were asking me in the community, "Oh, is this something that you do? How much do you charge? Oh, I like what you did at that event. That was fun."
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you. I don't charge." At the time,
Right.
I was like, "Oh, now okay." So you have all these people asking you.
Now you're a product.
Now I got to figure out how to maneuver in that space. I was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to figure. So that at that time, that's when things were picking up, and I just had to figure out how to turn this into something.
Yeah.
And so it has been a wild ride ever since. It's very tough.
Yeah.
And entertainment industry is very tough.
It is.
I've done a lot of things, and I want to continue to do a lot of things while I'm here in Houston. I love the stage. I love interacting with people.
Yeah.
It's even when I was doing it for no money, just doing it in just the interaction with people, just the energy, putting the events together, working with people who coordinate.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And so if I can do that in any capacity, I would. And I continue to do it outside of working as a journalist.
Yeah. Now, what brings you to Houston?
Originally, what brought me to Houston was work. Right now, I don't know how long this radio program is going to live, but right now I currently work with the Defender Network newspaper. I'm an education reporter for them.
Okay.
I've been with them for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And so it's been an awesome experience. I still continue to do what I do. I told you in the beginning that my first opportunity in journalism was working with the Bay State Banner newspaper as a freelancer.
Yeah.
That was a Black-owned newspaper, and now I'm working with a Black-owned newspaper now.
Yeah.
It's just a full circle moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been great. I'm happy that they support what I do outside, because a lot of the times when you're in this business and you do things that are not a representation for the news organization, they don't encourage you to do it.
Right.
Especially if you're making money from it.
Yeah.
And so I'm lucky to be in a position where they support what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, and then also means something different, because you now have a product, a good product that you actually present, and that also brings attention to what you do.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah.
Right.
Very.
Because when you introduce yourself, you're not just Laura, right? You are now a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised. This is the first time I see you without your glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, that can't be. That can't be.
It's so funny, because I even thought that the glasses were like part of your brand.
Oh no, I just can't see. I've been wearing glasses since 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now,
I'm a long time holder.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something that I just learned. You didn't play outside enough.
I didn't? You don't think so?
No.
Why?
That's why you wear glasses.
Because I'm indoors all the time.
Yeah.
Staring at the screen.
They just did a study where they figured out that children that spend more than 2 hours during the day playing outside have better vision than kids who spend most of their time indoors.
I feel like I did have a good childhood playing outside. I did sports camps. I'm a member of I was a member of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Lowell. Shout out to them. I did a lot of activities back in the day.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what happened. I remember when I started, I knew that I needed glasses, starting to lose my sight in fourth grade. I was in Mrs. Murphy's class, sitting in front row in her writing class, and I was just squinting my eyes.
Yeah.
I was just like, why can't I see? I'm sitting front row.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? And so eventually they found out, like, yeah, girl, you need some glasses. And I was like, oh.
So you got your first pair.
I got my first pair. I was just like, oh, this is
you
hard.
had them since.
I've had them since. It's gotten worse over time.
No, but one thing is for sure, that they have become part of your brand.
Yeah.
I
tried to not have it a part of but it is. It is.
Yeah.
you know.
It's like it gives you that intellectual, that intellectual look. It's like when it's like you and your glasses, your glasses and your phone, or your glasses and a book.
Yes, even my avatar on Instagram got glasses.
There you go. and that's definitely now. And you going into an area that is primarily dominated by males.
Yeah.
Right? And especially when we're talking about the diaspora, right? The African diaspora,
yes.
right?
It very much is.
Yeah. Do you find any challenges there?
I don't see it to be a challenge. Luckily enough, I've gotten support from the men them.
Okay.
From the men them. They're very open, or at least moving here and building a community around other MCs, they have been very helpful. We talk about the business. Right. We learn from each other. Yeah. Some things that I'm like, I didn't know. I'm like, oh snap, I didn't see that. Okay, I need to make the change or make the change. They're very open because we all have to be in unison.
Indeed.
One person cannot, say for example, one person charges this much.
Right.
But the market is this.
Right.
So we all have to charge within the market.
Yeah.
And so if you're not charging within the market, we ask you, okay, what is the problem?
Right.
Maybe it's a confidence issue, or maybe you don't want to oust a large percentage of your community that can afford this. Yeah. But it's like, well, we have to band together so that, customers understand that this is market.
Yeah,
this
maintain the value.
You got to maintain the value of what you're doing, because I guarantee you, say for example, some of my biggest clients are around weddings, for example.
Yeah. And
so when you're picking and choosing who your MC is for the weddings, and you're charging this amount, but the standard is this, they'll be like, oh, well, so and so charge this. So why are you charging that? And then now everybody's looking at you like, what you doing, bro? And it's a part of the entertainment business that doesn't get enough love, especially in the wedding space.
Yeah.
So I try to do my best there to be like, no, don't overlook us. It's a skill. You know, when you want to get your uncle and auntie to come and do it for you because you couldn't afford it, it will make or break your experience.
Right.
And then they will sit down there and then they'll be like, MC Laura O, why aren't you the one on stage doing the MC? You're an MC, right? I said, you shouldn't be asking me. You should be asking the client why they chose uncle and auntie to go and do the emceeing, and I'm sitting here, as a guest. I don't know. I've had that happen a couple of times. I'm just like, don't ask me. Go and ask them. It makes or breaks the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you for people that actually want to book you as an MC, what do they normally go to? Or how can they do it?
I've invested in a website, lauraotv.com.
Okay.
You can also catch me on Instagram, laurao_TV. On the bio, I put the link.
There you
go. To make it easier for people. But sometimes they bypass the bio and then they go DM you and say, where can I book you? And I'm like, it's in the bio.
Yeah, people don't like to read.
They don't like to read.
No.
So on Facebook, the same thing, laurao_TV. They can catch me there as well. So you can catch me on all the platforms. It's there, lauraotv.com.
Indeed. Yeah. Now, TV is on everything that you do. And of course, you're one of the few of us that actually here in Houston is on TV on a regular basis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Representing Fox 26.
So, well, I represent the Defender Network through Fox 26. Those segments that you see with the Defender is in partnership with them. We started it last year, beginning of last year, and it's been fun. Our top 3 takeaways is what it's called, the Defender top 3 takeaways.
Okay.
And so the point is, how can we get people to keep track of the important stories that the Defender is covering?
Gotcha.
And so we had already covered those stories in the paper and on the web. And then we take those and we have the segments where we talk about the top 3 things that are going on in the community. So I'm very intentional about the stories that I present on air, because the one important thing about working with the paper is, yes, it's an all Black publication, but we want to make sure we are representing all ethnic Black communities. So I do my best. Yes, I'm representing Black America. There's the Afro-Latina community. There's the Afro-Caribbean community. There's the African community, because we're all here.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, and you were born here in the States.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yes,
and,
yes, I am.
In what state?
Massachusetts.
Yeah. Wow. So reconnecting to the continent was part of your, I guess, how can I say, your search for identity, or it was just organic?
So for me, when talking to my dad, like I said before, he says, "What, you're born and raised here." And so he's going to do his best to educate us about where we come from. Because when he went to school in Lafayette, Louisiana, when he first came to the country to go to college. And so he was in the South, and he was experiencing the Black American culture. And it was very different from what he experienced back home.
Right.
And so he was just like, wow, like we both look the same, but our experience is different.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, look, talking to them, you know, and learning their history, and learning Black history. Right. These people were, you know, ancestors were ripped from their land. They're here by force. Yeah. And having to now create a whole new experience in another world. The experiences are different. And now they're grown up. And now just to figure out where they come from is tough. It's very hard. And he empathized with them because he's like, it's a blessing for him to know exactly what country he comes from, what state you come from, the village you come from. But when you ask your fellow Black Americans where they come from, they say, I don't know. You know, so he says, look, you need to be grateful. You know where you're from. And you gotta take that with you everywhere you go. And try to make it to the point where you do go home. And that's why I've made a point to go home as much as possible. And if I'm not able to go home, at least connecting with other people in the space who are also in that same journey. So there are a lot of Nigerian organizations and groups, young professional groups. Shout out to Umu Igbo Unite. I've been with them for some years now, and they have been a wonderful resource with connecting with other young Igbo Americans in the diaspora. And so that has been very helpful with us connecting to our roots, because there are a lot of there's a lot of Igbos in the diaspora who are not as blessed as me, where you have your at least you're in a family where they can let you know where you're from, let you know your identity. Sometimes it's just like you're born here, and I wouldn't know that you are an Igbo diasporan until you tell me your name. Indeed. But you know, when you look at them, you're like, oh, this is another brother. Hey, what up, my dog? What up? What's your name? Oh, my name is Emeka. I'm like, oh, so your name is Emeka? I didn't know that. Yeah. But when you ask them, okay, so where your parents from? They don't know. Right. And you don't know? Yeah. How do you not know? Your name is, you know? So like there are folks in the diaspora who are born and raised here, but they don't, for whatever reason in their life, they haven't taken the time to tap into those organizations or other people in the community who share that same identity. Indeed. So that is my experience. Yeah. No, I've witnessed that, and to be honest with you, at SAID Institute, we have actually had instances not only for Nigerians but also for Cape Verdeans, right, where this guy from Cape Verde, born and raised here, right, from Cape Verdean parents, and he really didn't know much about his culture. So he sees an ad online about the Cape Verdean event at SAID Institute, and he shows up. Oh, that's nice. Right? So he shows up, and for the first time, he's actually engaging with people that spoke the same language that his parents spoke, and understood the realities that his parents lived, and helped him understand that also. Yeah. Anyway, so based in Houston, got plenty going on. Yeah. People can reach you through your website, which is, again, LauraOTV.com. Yeah. Now, anything that I may not have covered in this interview that you want to definitely let people know about, now is your opportunity to do so. I just say, look, like I say, I make Black people my business. I've done so for a very, very long time. Yeah. I'm here for the people in the capacity that I'm in. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna be next year or the year before, whatever. Like what I've done here, like my progress in my career has not been linear.
Gotcha.
I've had to ping around to get to where I am. But I've always stuck with what my purpose is. So I move according to what the purpose is, and if it's aligned with what I'm supposed to do with the platform that I have.
Right.
So that's what I've intentionally done up until now, and I will continue to do. But also, yes, I tell people, say, look, that's not only my identity. You know, if I no longer do journalism anymore, and that's not who I am, is what I do. But I still will find a way to put us first. To put us first.
To still keep Black people your business.
Yes.
Yeah. And to those of you that took time out of your busy schedules to listen to this interview, we appreciate you for doing so. And always remember, make yourself, make your community, make your people, make your world first. Because if you don't do, nobody else will.
Right.
Laura, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been a great pleasure, and you got to make me a promise.
Yes, what is that?
You still be back.
Of course I will.
Thank you. Until next time, peace.